All right, guys, welcome to the Talking Shed podcast. I am Adam Fenig, and we've got
Cody Cisco.
And it's just us two here this afternoon. We've had a busy week, super busy last couple weeks, really. We didn't get a podcast recorded last week, and so we're back on it today. But, man, what a weird spring we've had so far.
With how dry it is. It's crazy.
Well, dry and cold, you know, is the big thing. Today is April 27th, and what's weird is, as all you farmers know who are listening, it's been fit, everything's good, but it's just so dang cold. Soil temps have been 30s and 40s, maybe up to 45, but just not quite warm enough. So we started seeing a lot more planters running in the last couple days, I would say. I made a trip down to southern Ohio today, and I saw a lot of stuff running.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat today. I mean, granted, I didn't go very far, but with the amount of distance that I did go, there were guys running today.
Yeah, I heard a pretty good wise tale the other day. The farmer I was talking to, I was in his shop, he said, you need the forecast for the next 3 to 5 days. You need the high and low to add up to 100. And it hasn't. It's been, 55 and 35. So we're at 90 or, 57 and 40. We're close. But he said, you want the 3 to 5 to add up to 100. I've never heard that one before, but that was good. There's a lot of guys talking about, those first 36 hours, 48 hours of that corn being in the ground. It's going to, not only corn, but beans, they're going to absorb that moisture that's around it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be cold moisture. And that really sets a tone for the early stages of that crop. So, over the last few years, we've grown a ton of really good corn that was planted in May and even into June.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a good spot. We've got a lot of spraying done, a lot of tillage is done. So here as it warms up, which it looks like it should, we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow, should be go time.
Yeah, my 10-day forecast kind of says the same story. We're going to get some rain here tomorrow, but we'll see what it brings. Hopefully, it brings us a little bit warmer weather at least to get some corn in the ground and
should bring us some May flowers.
Yeah,
should. So there'll be a lot of crops planted the first week in May.
Yeah,
I got a Snapchat just a little bit ago from a gentleman. Farmed a decent amount of ground. They finished beans.
Yeah.
just right now. So yeah, that's cool. That's hey.
Where was he located?
He was farming like north central Ohio.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but yep. So let's talk about what in the heck we've been doing. I just got back from a Salford demo in southern Ohio. You were out doing some demos. Let's just run through what the heck we did today.
Today, why don't you start because you did yours before me?
Sure. I started pretty early this morning. I had tow a pig of a 24-foot Salford 2200 with hydraulic shanks down to Lockbourne, Ohio, straight south of Columbus off of 23 for a demo. And that was a long drive. I took 29 through Sydney to like Mechanicsburg, on 56 to London, down through Orient, had to cross the Big Darby Creek, and just across 23 right there by Rickenbach Airport. But anyway, phenomenal demo. Customer wanted a tool that could create a beautiful seed bed without doing horizontal tillage. He owns a Landau disc, and they had an inch of rain when we had 3/10 here. So it was too wet for him to run his Landau. He wouldn't dare do it because of that sidewall and the smearing he would create. And so he wanted a tool that could fluff and create seed beds, number one, for corn. So we went out in his bean ground, it was of course bean stubble, and set that tool down, and it was unbelievable. I did a video on it that I'm going to be uploading here right now, or tonight I should say, about it. It was unbelievable. I was impressed myself. I've seen a lot of 12 and 2100 or 2200 demos, I was just like, I was blown away. Just the fracturing and the seed bed, and you walk on it. It was like walking on a pillow. Customer loved it. He had never seen a tool that could do that.
Yeah.
So that went phenomenal. He's running it in corn stalks right now. And so that right there is where it's at. For us, I have a lot of YouTube videos. We talk about Salfords a lot on this podcast and stuff, but when you can show up with the tool and unfold that thing, hook it to his tractor, match up horsepower, run it in his soil, and get that thing set and dialed in just right, and it works, man, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You do, and if it doesn't work in your favor, maybe it's not the tool for him, you both still win. Because you found out that ain't the right tool for him. You don't want to sell him a tool that ain't for him.
Yeah.
So he wins because you say, you know what? This ain't the tool. I want a different tool. Okay, cool. We get it. But you also win because you are fine-tuning that customer's needs, and you're going to dig down and find that tool for him, and you're going to be the winner for being able to do that for that customer.
Yeah.
And you'll have a lifelong customer at that point.
Yeah, definitely. And a good example of that here was this fall. Remember, we went up to Lipsick, Ohio, and did that with a customer. And we demoed him a 2200, and then we demoed him a VRT, and he ended up buying a 20-foot VRT, and we just delivered it. So. Haven't talked to him, haven't asked him if he's ran it yet. I haven't had time to call him just because we've been doing some other stuff between doing other demos and whatnot. And speaking of that, that's kind of what I was doing today was.
Well, let's go back to that customer up in Lipsick. He was originally talking more of a, not quite a 5200, but maybe like a 42, something like kind of aggressive.
Yeah.
Up in that area, rolling baskets are popular. But he wanted, VRT wasn't even in the conversation.
No.
And so we demoed him a 22, and he wanted something a little bit more aggressive for what he was doing. And finally, it wasn't, you said this fall, but it was probably like late November.
Yeah.
By the time we got that VRT up to him.
Well, our fall was so dry.
Long and dry.
Yeah, it was just an optimum fall to be demoing tools in general. And so, like you said, it was probably almost Thanksgiving whenever we
so
messing with
he knew we were serious because of the determination that we had to find him the right tool. So he knew that once we found the right tool, he could trust us to get that thing bought.
Yeah.
So that's what I did today. I left that tool down there, and we talked over a little bit of pricing, and I think he really likes that tool, and I think that tool may have a new zip code before it's all said and done.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
So that was my day. I left here at probably 7:15, and it is 4:50, and I got back when we hit record on this podcast. So.
Yep.
What about you?
So my morning consisted of, actually I'm setting up a demo for tomorrow that basically I'm going to take a 12-row Yetter Maverick bar up to basically be the thumb of Michigan is where I'm heading tomorrow, about 4.5 hours away. Straight up 75.
They got any turkeys up there?
I didn't ask, but I'm going to find out.
What do you mean you didn't ask?
I didn't ask yet. I'm going to. I'm going to find out.
Okay.
And no, we're going up there. This guy, he's a pretty big advocate of strip tilling, and there are about 3 guys in Michigan, and he's one of the top 3 in Michigan as far as strip tillers go. So he's never been able to run a Yetter bar before, and there's not a lot of dealers in this area that are very familiar with it like we are and have the knowledge as what we do.
Cool.
So I'm taking that up there tomorrow, and then so that's how my day started. And then your dad lined up this demo with Wenning Poultry just down the road here in Fort Recovery, and we went and demoed that 35-foot VRT. So your dad pulled it over there this morning, and then I went over there and set it up and got it rolling and whatnot. And
35 footer. How many horse?
We had 620 on it.
Okay.
So 620 quad track.
Could he go
case.
12?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sweet. That's right where you want to be.
Oh yeah. It was. I didn't ever want to run another VRT without the adequate amount of horsepower ever again.
Yeah.
Like just doing that today was phenomenal.
I had the same thing. We were running down there, and we had a 290 on a 24 foot, and we were running. He's like, "Man, I thought you said this thing would choke this tractor down." I said, "Well, let me set it a little bit deeper." And we did have plenty of tractor, but I told him, I said, "You jump up into a 31, and you won't be able to go 9." And I said, "If you don't have that flexibility, not only that, but we had shanks on that tool."
Yeah.
So I said, "You're going to want some free horsepower to play with. You don't ever want to just be bogging through a field."
Yeah. I mean, especially putting 9, what is it? Is it 9 or 11?
On a 24 footer?
Yeah, I think it's
they
9.
run 9. Yeah.
Putting-
11 on a 30.
Yeah, putting 9 shanks in the ground, trying to go 9-10 mile an hour. I mean,
Right.
it's going to choke it down pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we went over there and we got the tool set up. But Lydia and I actually went over there and brought the white rhino over there. So if any of you see me rolling through Fort Recovery, I was cruising in the white rhino.
Sure.
Yeah, so it was a good thing I brought it because we had to adjust the hitch height and whatnot and had all the tools in there that we needed to do it with and got her set up. And so basically what he was looking for was he was looking to replace a field cultivator.
Okay.
So he's got I believe it's a 30 or a 35 foot, it's a sunflower. I don't remember what it is.
50-35?
Yeah, 50-35 C-shank,
Yeah.
7-inch shovel. Yeah, we kind of running it through the paces. We were right next to a field that he had ran the field cultivator in it twice, and we were able to get it almost better than what the field cultivator ran it in one pass compared to 2.
Okay.
Probably wasn't as level as what he had, and there were probably a few chunks in there, but we ran over it twice, and it was a night and day difference.
Yeah.
It looked very, very good. Was running that thing probably about 2.5 to 3 inches deep. The sweet spot as far as for what we were running in. So we ran it in some chisel ground, and then we ran it into some just some stale ground that hadn't been touched since it got harvested there last fall. So
Okay. Untouched stuff.
Yeah.
Untouched corn stalks? Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah, there wasn't a lot of residue on it, but they had.
Was it chopped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was chopped corn stalks is what it was, and it worked really, really well. Whenever we first went over it, we were running like that 8 to 9 degrees, and then we found out like our sweet spot was anywhere from like 10 to 12.
I see.
Was where we were just making it look really, really good. Mm-hmm. And we got into some of that work dirt, and we were going down, and he's like, "Man, I can't believe this thing is choking this tractor that much." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, imagine setting that thing 5 inches deep and trying to go as aggressive as you could." And we were sitting there playing with it, and he was like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of nice. I like the versatility of it and whatnot." Running about 1,000 pounds of down pressure on the rolling baskets, and it worked
Sweet.
really well for him. He was impressed.
Sweet. Well, that's good. That's good. That's what you and I just described that we did today is really what we've done for the last week almost.
Yeah.
I was over in Lewistown running. We both were helping a guy get rolling on a VRT. We were down in Union City getting a 40-foot cultivator set up. We've got last week we went to Michigan.
Yeah.
Did 2 VRT demos up there, and then on our way up, we got a 31-foot Salford up and rolling.
Yeah.
So it's been great. Just how slow and strung out the spring has started is extremely advantageous for us.
Yeah.
Because versus it just all of a sudden at a flip of a switch warming up, and it allows us to if a guy calls right now or had in the last week. I'd say, okay, I'll be out there tomorrow. And they're like, well, you don't have to work, whenever it works. I'm like, oh, that's weird, but they're like, we're not going to plant or anything. We're just getting the kinks for, worked out of it. It's like, oh man, this is awesome. So it's been great because the VRT that I have, well, it's northeast of Columbus right now, but that thing it's on its 5th demo right now since
This
we picked it
spring,
up.
yeah.
So, and we did our first demo on it.
What was that?
Shoot, that's been 2 or 3 weeks ago, down there east of Columbus off of 70. So,
Yeah, that was almost, I bet it was the last week of March we went down there and picked that thing up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking is when it was.
yeah. So it's amazing. It's been great. And so hopefully everyone can get the kinks worked out and get their planters dialed in. So yeah,
I've been having a lot of that too. Just guys trying to work kinks out of their planters
Oh, yeah.
and get those things fired up, ready to rock and roll. We put on how many fertilizer kits of planters this year, and I had 2 guys call me today about them. Just different, just little. It's nothing crazy as far as urgency about it, but
right.
just some small, minute stuff that they didn't necessarily know or needed to know.
Yeah, I had a guy over here in Indiana running a Ag Express Vanguard row by row deal on his case planter. The monitor was off quite a bit from his actual rate, and so I called Ag Express, and Diana took the call. Our friend Diana at Ag Express, and she called the customer. She said, "Hey, you want me to call him?" I said, "Sure." And she took care of it. So he had the wrong flow meter. Because we set it up. I set it up. I had the wrong flow meter number punched in there for revolutions. So she got that figured out, dialed in, and he's up and rolling. So stuff like that. That's a lot of what we've been doing lately. Grandpa's been super swamped in the semi, and you'll see. Well, you may have gotten a sneak peek of it, I guess, last week in the newsletter. No, you didn't. We finally got our new garage door, one of our new garage doors in the big shop. It's like a 35-foot garage door or something. Is it operable?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It operates.
Operational?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's got one of those deals to where it can't crush anybody either. One of those laser sensors. So
Okay.
I'm sure whenever somebody hits it, I know it'll happen. We'll have to
Yep.
realign the lasers again here sometime.
Yep. That's to
Wish
make sure
they would.
Cody's not standing under the door.
Yeah.
So so yeah, that's been a big improvement. So I'll do a video of that here tonight. But yeah, plant progress is kind of slow for the time being.
I was at J&M today. Picked up an applicator.
Yeah,
Did you see my Snap story?
I did.
Yeah. So I whipped her into J&M today to go pick up an applicator, and I looked to my left, and I'm like, what in the world? They had a great big, one of their new 1422X, what do they call them things? I don't even remember what they call them things, but
Grain carts?
It was a grain cart on tracks, and it was painted up LSU Tiger colors.
Yeah.
It was cool. Basically, the main frame was all purple, and then a bunch of the trinkets on it was painted up yellow, and then it had like their own little custom sticker. It was pretty legit. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, they're always doing the coolest stuff down there. So I'm excited to get some of these applicators in. We've got most of our 60-footers out and delivered, but we've got 3 40-footers coming in. They're going to be very unique. You have to watch our YouTube channel to stay up on them, but I've got guys that are running 2 coulters in between each corn row.
Yep.
I'm going to be very curious about these. It's going to be pretty neat, I think. So we'll get those built. So they're going to run them 7.5 inches away from the corn.
yeah,
So that'll be pretty interesting.
that'll be neat. We're gonna throw some Yetter coulters on there, and
If you guys have seen the YouTube video about my wheat that Cody and I did, where we planted my wheat with a Salford and a Valmar cedar, I did a video on that like 3-4 weeks ago. We need to do another one.
Yeah.
because we got it top dressed. We put about 27 gallon on, and got some herbicide thrown in there. But I want to do a video talking about that. It is interesting how the way that we seeded that with the seeder, and we didn't put it in rows. So there's no bare dirt. It's scatter seeded. The weeds are not there.
Yeah.
Like the wheat is fighting off the weeds. So it's very interesting to see that. But you can definitely see every square inch that the hog manure was laid down.
Yeah.
There's some areas on the end rows that it didn't get applied to, so it's a little bit lighter green. And I ran some tissue tests on the lighter green stuff and the darker green stuff, and I just got those tissue tests back this afternoon. I sent them off to my buddy Mike Hannawald. He's an agronomist at Beck's, to have him look at them. Nitrogen levels were definitely way different.
Yeah.
Iron was a lot different. Calcium, everything was quite a bit
Really?
different. Oh yeah, where the manure ran. So the nitrogen wasn't off as much as I had expected. Maybe I should have done a soil and a tissue test at the same time, but I didn't. So we'll see. It'd be interesting to see what he says. But and I was just telling Cody, we're going to have our field day in that north field, and then we're going to plant sunflowers. And I got my high oleic sunflowers ordered. The seed, got it ordered today. Tony Grody convinced me via Snapchat to plant some sunflowers.
Yeah.
We're going to have our field. I'm doing sunflowers because they're very drought tolerant. They can mine a lot of nutrients that are like 2 foot to 5 foot down in the soil. They got roots that go super deep, and they mine those nutrients up and they put them in the stalk. There are definitely nutrients that go in the head and that you'll pull out when you harvest them, but a lot of these nutrients are in the stalk. And so when you harvest it, then it lays it on top. And sunflowers are great for recycling nutrients. And so I'm going to plant 24,000 seeds per acre of sunflowers. And then we got a sunflower head, a 683, I think it is. Bought
653
that we gotta go pick up.
Yep, we gotta go get that thing yet.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a wild goose chase adventure of planting and harvesting some sunflowers. Do we know what we're doing?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Are we gonna have fun doing it? Oh yeah.
I mean, I tell you what,
Are we gonna make some money on it? We better.
I tell you what, just, growing up, you would run tractors for guys and help them farm and everything, but doing it yourself is just like,
It's a different
it's
deal.
yours, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like this is so weird. Like we had so much fun just doing it, and I don't know.
I think it took us like 7 hours to plant 55 acres. But that was just, I don't know, it just did.
Well, we were probably undersized on the tractor.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, we were able to go like 7 or 8. I would have liked to go 10. But,
Yeah.
But then we did go across it twice.
Yeah.
So we technically covered 110 acres because
Yeah.
I wanted to overlap, and we were maxing out the cedar at 135 pounds. So we
Yeah.
did 65 north and south and 65 east and west.
Yeah.
So it took us a little bit longer, but we'll see. I'm very curious to see how this wheat turns out. I'm witnessing every day how the wheat market's turning out. Luckily, I've got some pre-sold, and it was 580 today. It was down another notch today, but that's all right. She'll come back, and it'll be good. So I'm gonna double crop sunflowers. This seed comes out of like North Dakota, and so I had to get some different plates for the planter. They actually suggest using popcorn plates.
Oh, okay.
So I got those ordered, and then I ordered some. There's a brush that you put on the meter
Okay.
to help knock out skip or doubles
Okay.
and stuff. It's different than the brush that you use for corn. So I ordered the brush, I ordered the meter, and then on the other half of the farm, we're going to double crop beans. So the plan is we're going to harvest the wheat. We're going to bale the straw off. Brent's going to bale that off, and then manure.
Yep.
I want to coat it in manure right after, and then we're going to plant beans. But Anyway,
How many gallons of manure are you planning on applying?
all of it. I don't know.
20,000 gallon per acre.
No. But so I'm going to do sunflowers, because we're going to plant the sunflowers probably later than the beans, because we're going to have a field day in there.
Yeah.
And after the field day, you know, the field day is going to be kind of more of a tillage field day.
Yeah.
So we're likely going to end up working the majority of that field, probably losing a lot of the moisture that was ever in there, because, you know, July, it's probably going to be hot and dry like it was this last July. But sunflowers are extremely drought tolerant.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to put them in that field. I thought it made sense. There's a buyer here in Ohio for them. Found a head that works on our 9510. We're going to go to town on some sunflowers.
Yep.
So
We're going to figure it out.
yeah, we are. Yes, we are.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I have going right now. You know,
Yeah, and just to add on to, you know, what's going on in our world. I mean, you know, I was talking tillage, you know, strip till here in the last 3 weeks for me has been.
well, that's why I was just going to ask. Hold on, don't go too far. I was going to ask you, what is one of the products that in the last 3 weeks has kind of caught you off guard? Like, I didn't think that would be so popular, but it is.
Maverick strip till units from Yetter is one of them. I would say that one by far has been the most outlier as far as a odd product for me to sell right now. I mean, I sold...
And it's not an odd product. It's just this time of year.
Yeah.
You know, the map, although you need to talk to Worley. He's got a guy over in Indiana, and maybe he told you, who's running it as a spring and fall unit. And we sold him an 8-row bar. But he put a wavy quarter instead of the front cutter. And he's running that as a freshener in the spring.
Really?
So, but that's typically like a summer sale,
Yeah,
typically.
for sure.
But you also got to think about it. Right now is when guys are planting into dirt and they're like, okay, what can I do better for a better seed bed?
Yeah, to an extent. For me, it just caught me off guard because usually we're talking strip fresheners or cab control units, not a
Right.
shank machine that is going to be used here in the fall.
Right.
That requires horsepower and stuff like that and whatnot. And
Well, there's still a lot of need to break up that compaction and get the fertilizer banded a little bit deeper. But yeah, and that unit is so versatile.
Yeah.
You're going to see it tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get some videos out of it. But we'll throw that vertical tillage attachment onto it, and boom, you've got a machine that can run shanks in the fall and vertical tillage type in the spring.
yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm excited to run it tomorrow. Going to take the service truck and the 40-foot trailer and load the 12-row bar up there, and
it's not loaded yet.
not as of a half hour ago.
I see.
So
Okay. So, for me, probably row cleaners. I sold some row cleaners today, and that's not surprising given the time of year, but I was kind of thinking like, it's like May,
April 27th.
But hey, luckily we have them in stock, and
Yeah.
that's it. So
Yep. For
and,
sure.
and sold some closing wheels today.
Yep.
Too.
Same.
So, I
Yep.
think guys are, like, we'd do a lot better job if we had these or these. So yeah, that was interesting. Something that that is really catching fire for us is the spreaders. And I know we've talked about the spreaders and all that, but those things are on fire.
Yeah.
And then those Enduraplast sprayers, I'm gonna highlight those in tomorrow's email blast, talking about the different sprayers and what you can do with them. So
Yeah, we're getting in a bunch of trades from all these new tools that we sold.
We got a pile of trades in this
Yeah.
week. Case 335, Great Plains Turbo Till, 360-foot applicators. What else? A 24-foot Salford 570.
25-foot rolling basket.
Yeah.
Just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
got
it's
a lot of iron in on trade. Stuff that was sold.
a long time ago. We were just now getting it because guys are getting their tools. But yeah, it's one of those deals where it's like, man, I
there's-
forgot that we had all this stuff. You know?
Yeah, you kind of forget until it's sitting right here.
Yeah.
You get to look at it. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. And most of it's already uploaded on Tractor House, but we'll keep getting it uploaded. On the side of planners and everything, I don't know of any other product that has been as smooth going as like those Totally Tubulars.
Yeah.
The TTs out the back, those have been good. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just one of those deals. It's just one of those things where you don't know it until you see it, and then it's like, man, I haven't had a phone call because I got a bearing out on a blade, or I need a new spring on my knife, or
Right.
It's just nice that, we enjoy that breathing room because we're dealing with so much other things right now too.
Right.
We're looking in the future as far as, well, next is going to be side dress season. So,
That's going to be the big one.
yeah,
For us.
I mean, we're going to be running. I mean, we got a brief glimpse of it here with guys doing some pre-plan anhydrous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come, here the end of probably here this next month, we're going to be.
Oh yeah, there'll be some corn spiking, 2.5, 3 weeks from now, like crazy, and it'll get side dressed 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So probably the end of May.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we're good. Heck, there was a day there a couple weeks back, you and I, it was on a Friday. Well, me and Brent started the day, you and I ended the day. But you and I were out until about 10:30 working on a Hardy sprayer.
Yeah.
We did an anhydrous stop. We did a planer stop. And then we had to go back to that Hardy sprayer because we thought we had fixed the John Deere rate controller because the guy had a problem. We diagnosed it, unplugged some things, changed some settings, took it out to the field, and it worked. And I took videos of it, and the customer rode along, and we thought we had it licked. And about an hour later, he called, and the same problem was happening. So we went back out there, and at the end of the day, the control valve on the Hardy sprayer was shot. So Cody had to go out there that following day, Saturday, and fix it. I took my boys to a pig show.
Hey, I don't blame you there. I'm
And,
sure that was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a blast. It was a blast. Yep. The boys think they won the whole deal when really we were actually on the other end of the class, which is right where we wanted to be. But, we got to do showmanship and the whole deal. They ask me all the time when the next one is.
Oh, yeah. I
There's
believe
one
it.
this weekend, but it's all the way in eastern Ohio.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So I'm not going to drag one pig that way to bring in the rear rank of the class. So not yet, but yeah, we had a blast with that. So, but what I'm getting at is, the service calls, for planners isn't really here yet, but they're coming for side dressers.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be a big deal. Flow meters and control valves and my rates off and orifices and colders and bearings and all that.
Yeah, we'll be running.
Yep.
Come side dress time. So, yeah, I've actually got a couple of guys with sprayers. The Raven calls that I've been taking on
unbelievable.
sprayers is
Unbelievable.
astronomical compared to last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at least if it's not at least 2 a day, it's 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I dealt with 2 guys today.
Yeah. So what we did, we sell and troubleshoot a lot of Raven equipment. I did a bunch of YouTube videos on Ravens, control valves, 460s, 440s, how to run them, how to program them. And so guys across the country watch these videos and they call us for support, which is great. I mean, we feel like we know how to help them, and they call in and we get them tackled. So sometimes they need some parts, sometimes they just need some program work done in their Raven, and
some programming, and it's good to go. Or
a new speed sensor.
Yep. I'm actually going to update a guy to a whole new box.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So I need to get him that and a valve.
Cool. Yeah, sometimes the support isn't always there from the manufacturer or hard to get a hold of. When you can just call a number and talk to a live person who also has parts on the shelf that can ship to you, it's pretty handy. So that's what we try to do with the Raven support side of things.
Yeah. Yep. I had a guy call me today on an ISO Raven.
Okay. Big or small? RCM or?
He wasn't sure.
Likely a small. What was it on?
I'm pretty sure it was small one. It was on a sprayer. And
unless it was a brand new sprayer, it's small.
He ran it through. He was running it through his Pro 700. Well, he went to a Fendt tractor.
Okay.
Well, something along the lines of it. I don't know if his AGCO screen needed, updated or needed unlocked to allow him to do some shutoffs and stuff like that, but
probably unlocked.
That was my guess too. And I was like, honestly, I don't know. I said, I feel like it's more of your Fendt side of it than it is your Raven side, because I'm like, that's basically a brain box that just keeps all of that information that you put in there. And
he was able to do sections before.
Oh, his Pro 700. And I was like, I'm pretty confident it's on your Fendt side. And he goes, well, that's what I thought too, but I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything in this. And I was like, I'm like, 9 times out of 10, it's on the tractor side. And I'm like, very rarely is it ever on the applicator or sprayer side of the brain box.
Right.
For that. Usually it's on the tractor side. Something needs updated or, something along those lines to get it to talk.
Yeah. Sure.
To speak the same language. And I think a lot of guys get confused with that type of stuff just because they don't understand, and I don't necessarily understand it either, but, getting it dumbed down to where it's easy enough for everybody to understand it.
Well, they use a different language.
Yeah.
And so I think when you say dumbed down, I think it's just converting it into a language. It took me a long time to figure out what the code of Raven is. And when you figure that out, then you can talk that language. So like the section widths of the Raven are labeled boom 1, boom 2, boom 3. And it's kind of confusing because sometimes you're like, well, I only have one boom. There's not 3 booms. Right. There's just one big boom. It's 90 feet. Well, what they're really asking is how many sections are on that boom and what do they measure? But not only what do they measure, what do they measure in inches?
Yep.
So, it can be, easy to confuse. And then they're asking you what type of valve you have. Well, if your sticker got pressure washed off or washed off, you may not know. And so then you wouldn't know your valve cow number, or maybe you lost your flow meter cow number. And there's 3 or 4 different meter cow numbers on a tag.
Yeah. And that is such a tough thing to tell a guy, and it's like, well, I can't really help you without that number. And they're just like,
if your tag's missing off your Raven flow meter, that you have 3 options, I guess. Number 1, buy a new flow meter, send the other one to Ag Express and put it on the shelf for a spare when it gets back. That's option number 1. Option number 2, if you're not needing it immediately, just take it off and send it to Ag Express. It's something they could probably get done pretty quick. When it comes back, bolt it on. you're good to go, and they will give you the number. Because everyone's different. It needs calibrated to get the number.
Yeah.
Option number 3, throw a dart at the wall, go out and keep track of acres and gallons applied, and keep adjusting until they match.
Yep.
So depending on what you're putting down and how lucky you're feeling,
Yeah.
number 3 could work.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just, and if you have time, heck, just fill it full of 100 gallon of water and go do 4 gallon an acre and start playing with it. So, you'll know real quick as your tank empties and you cover acres if you're off, and then just start adjusting and keep adjusting. And you could even do a catch test if you want to do that, rather than an application type calibration. So there's 3 options if you don't have a flow meter tag. Really, none of them help you right at that very second.
Right.
You would need some time for all of them. So, but it's never a bad thing to have a flow meter on the shelf anyways. So
No, and I mean, honestly, that's usually, I would say that's probably 85% of the problem. If a guy's calling in and saying that his flow is off, 85% of the time it is because of that particular unit.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what's telling it. I mean, that plus the speed input plus the boom width input is what is doing the calculation to get to gallons per minute, which is then converted to gallons per acre. And so if that thing's off, everything's off.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what's tough to convey to guys is they're like, well, I don't understand that. And it's like, I know, but I've got to have that number in order to get you to where you want to be, because otherwise we're just throwing darts at the wall. I might as well close my eyes and just start throwing. Like,
yeah, and you don't want Cody to be doing that. That'd be scary. Throwing darts with his eyes open would be scary. So that's pretty much what's going on here. The ambulances have been up and running. The engines ought to be cleaned out of them now, out on service calls. I did find a U-bolt bender. Well, Devin found it. That I think we're going to be able to get bought for the shop.
really?
Yeah. We've been dreaming up of a machine, a press that can press U-bolts ourselves. And I went and got one quoted there's a place down here in Greenville that makes them. And it was extremely spendy.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely. And, you could buy a new pickup truck for what they wanted to bend U-bolts. And then you have to have the inventory of the rods. So you would end up having a lot of money up in just
in U-bolts.
bending U-bolts. Well, Devin found one last night that I think we're going to get and put in the shop. So that'll be a great addition to the shop. We'll have threaded rods on the shelf of various lengths. And so if we need 5 U-bolts spit out, just find your length, grab your die, and get them bent. Done.
Nice.
So, I think that'll make us even more efficient.
Yeah.
So,
especially with all these tank brackets and everything else and whatnot. Yeah, that'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's up on the hunting side of things? Because, this is a hunting podcast. We just talk about equipment for a little bit.
That is correct.
I think... So
you are going to be a Deadly Wily Coyote hunter here shortly.
Yeah, getting myself a 223.
Yep, new rifle.
Yep,
a day scope.
Yep, because I'm going to get a what'd I say? What kind was that?
A Savage.
It's a Savage. Yep. Yeah. So Savage, because our problem is right now is all of our coyote gear is nighttime. And it doesn't get dark until 9.
Yeah.
And so we can't even start hunting until 9 or 10. Well, if you want to get anywhere, you're going to be out until 1, 2 o'clock. And that just doesn't work. Yeah. So we want to be able to be daytime and nighttime. So Cody's got the AR with the thermal. I'm going to have the 223 with a daytime scope so we can go out 6:30 and start hunting. And as it gets dark, we'll switch over to thermals.
Yep.
And we'll be done coyote hunting for what we can do in that day by 9 o'clock. And so
Yeah.
it'll be able to adjust a lot better.
Yeah, in the wintertime, it's like, oh, well, yeah, we got to have the thermal.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, because heck, you get home from work and it's dark. But now, it's dark, or it's light out until 9:30.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't really cut it, especially if you have to travel at all.
Yeah.
So we're going to be daytiming some coyotes here, maybe by the weekend, maybe. So we'll see.
We're going to have to get her sighted in.
Yeah,
Yep.
no doubt. But
Bolt action?
yeah, it's a bolt action.
Accu-trigger?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, bolt action for accuracy.
Nice.
See, yeah, I'm gonna need. I'll probably end up needing all the shots in there.
Yeah.
But I'll be able to make that first one count a little bit better.
Oh, okay.
Knowing that I can't just pow, 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 when they're running away.
I don't understand why you guys think I'm such a bad shot. I'm 2 out of 3. I can't, I don't understand why you guys think I'm such a lousy shot.
The other beauty of daytime hunting is we can video it.
Yeah.
And we can show everyone that you're a bad shot. Yeah. So
No, you're going to be behind the gun. We're going to video you being a bad shot.
well, I can still. Who's going to call?
Oh, I am.
Well, we won't see any coyotes then. You got to know when to play baby cottontail and lone howl.
We need to get an X24.
Yep.
Next.
Yep. That's a different coyote call.
Yep.
But
we need to get a different coyote call.
We will.
Better one, souped up version.
Yep. Well, my nephew killed a turkey on Monday morning.
And your brother-in-law.
Yep, Hunter.
They double stacked them.
Yep, doubled up in Michigan on some turkeys. So hopefully everyone's out there doing some turkey hunting this week. Cody and I wish we were, but we're not. We've never killed turkeys. But
that is probably the one species around here, as far as being able to kill, that we've never.
Well, there's not a lot of them around here.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, as far as what's legal to hunt,
Right.
is what I mean. That is probably the one species of animal that we have successfully not killed anything.
Sure.
And attempted to go kill it.
There's nothing successful about that.
We had fun.
Yeah. Well, we went, but we've never. Yeah. So
we've never succeeded.
Right. Yeah, we went on some public ground, and that is what it is. But yeah, we need to get some turkeys under our belt. But it's just the time of year is the struggle. It's pretty busy. So, well, we're gonna wrap up this podcast, and we appreciate everyone listening. It'll be released in tomorrow's email blast. So, thanks everyone for tuning in. Look forward our YouTube channel for a lot more videos coming up, and we will see you on the next one.
Yep. Thanks, guys.